All right, so I want to apologize, and yeah, it's just unfortunate. Some things are not under your control. Like for example, here, losing the connection, it's totally normal because we have to use VPN, to stay connected on YouTube and to be able to upload anything. And it's the virtual positioning network. So you have to have like this account in order to get connected to any of these platforms, when you're in China. It's YouTube, Google, and all these like social media platforms. You cannot get connected if you don't have VPN, which can be kind of unstable, So this is a little problem, and I just wanted to reconnect again. And even though now we cannot have like very long uh, part here, the second part, I just wanted to apologize and maybe just add a couple of more minutes here. So, and also I would like to answer a few questions there. If you can also repeat at the end of this talk, I saw some questions, but I wanted to talk about it, but it looked like the connection was lost. At the end, it was still recorded. So at the end of that previous live, I think there will be a part where I was not saying much. I didn't know if it was connected because last time when this happened, I kept going, right? I wanted to talk a bit more, and I think I talked for like 10-15 minutes. And then when I wanted to upload, I saw that part was cut off. So I just talked for 15 minutes like for nothing. Like nobody was there to hear it, and then it was not saved in the video. So it's very tough, It's very tough here from China, but it is what it is, I'm still happy and grateful to be here in China at the moment. It's much better situation than anywhere else in the world in terms of the virus, and I hope the rest of the world will follow soon. So I just want to check if you guys have some more questions, but I also want maybe to mention one more memory from childhood or for junior times, because that was the purpose of this. But anyways, how can I get topspin on my one-handed backhand? And when was the last time you played on the Pro Tour? Okay, I remember this question. We're going to leave the country soon. Well, first, the topspin on your one-handed backhand, it definitely has to do with your racket positioning, right? When you're having a take back, I suggest you go with the racket pointing up, and then just before you go for the contact point, you have to kind of drop the racket and then try to get that racket head a little bit below your wrist. Obviously, in order to create a topspin, you have to go a little bit below, right? Otherwise, it's going to be like a side spin or slap. So you want to get your wrist first and the racket head a little bit below. If here's the contact point, right? You don't want to go directly here. Obviously, you need to go here, and you need to create a little angle there, and then you can get that topspin. I think it's obvious, right? And I'm pretty sure you also know that, but there's not really a different way, to describe it. So obviously you need to go under the ball. When was last time played tournament? It was last year, August or July or August, and this is when I rolled my ankle, and unfortunately didn't play since then. It was very unfortunate, but that's sport, that's tennis. Best advice. Oh, okay. So just answer the same person here. Are you going to leave the country? Not planning yet, because now it's very tough. It's a very tough situation. It was determined. It was the futures, I think 15,000 in Novi Sad, Serbia. And best advice on performing more consistent matches. Yeah. Okay, that's a very hot topic, and I know it's, it kind of bothers a lot of players on different levels, including the highest competitive level. I would say I would say the more you play, you're gonna get more consistent. That's number one. Number two is seeing those matches as something super fun, and not like going there and being like afraid and like freezing, like get your body like frozen or feet. So you want to go out there and have fun. I think that's the key. Like when you think in that way, that's the only goal is to enjoy your time on court, and not really be worried about making mistakes or even losing the match. The things can, turn around. You can start playing much more free, without being concerned about the outcome. So you just try to go there and have fun, enjoy the moment. I think that will be the best advice. Do you guys get basic income throughout this madness? Well, the law here, they I think they made up like a new law, or like a sub law, like some like section. They added some section, and the law protects the workers. So I think for the first month of this virus situation, when everything kind of stopped, I think the different companies, maybe they would not do it. But yeah, that's it. Again, we have the connection lost. I'm very sorry. Okay, now it's here. Can you please write again the comment, because now it shows the connection is still on. It's very frustrating. Heard you were in the middle of serving a Berlin air raid. You were in the middle of serving a Berlin air. Sorry, I don't understand this one. It's like some metaphoric meaning, or I don't understand. Which tournament? Yeah, I talked about this. Surviving. Middle of surviving Berlin air. I don't know what's Berlin air raid. Sorry. But anyways, I can just quickly talk about another memory I have, and I mean there's so many. There's so many. Trying to think which ones should I choose, and definitely I need to have many more lives, to cover all of them. I think you can also relate to some of these stories, or maybe even like get inspired by some of them. And what racket use? I'm playing with Wilson Blade 98, and the weight is 305. The string pattern 18 times 20. Okay, so we have the connection. It's good. We cannot go for too long though. I will have to go soon. But so the story, which will be an interesting. I have a story. The story. I can talk about. All right, because the first story, it was like, the happy one, the memory, the good memory, and then like the beginning of that dream. But then, just so you can see the other side of the life of a tennis player. It's one of those matches where it did not end, the way you wanted, the way you hoped, even though everything was looking like that. And so this was the match. I think it was still under 12, but it was a little bit. I think it was, or maybe at similar time as I related to that first story. If you didn't hear it, it was under 12 when I won the first trophy. Maybe this was a little bit later in that year, or maybe next year, when I was like moving outside of the category of 12, under 12. And I was playing against my like club mate, like a teammate sort of. and we had so many interesting matches. We had like not just interesting, like literally crazy matches, and it's almost every single match we played. It was like that, one of us was leading, and then the other comes back, and but this match, it was in our club, and I remember my father actually used the camera. He's like he studied he studied electronics, at the technical university. How was the name? I don't know. But he was always like equipped with all these new technologies, and even at that time, he had a camera which like not many people had. So he placed it there, and he wanted to record the match. And we started the match. It was all going one way. I was totally dominating, and I was in control with pretty much every game. So I think it was 6-1 first set. By the way, so this player, his name is Slavko Bielica. I don't know if he will see this, probably not, but so we are similar age. He's 1 year younger. He was actually on the team with Novak Djokovic later, in juniors. I think he traveled with him, and like so like very high level. But we were like always like kind of pushing each other same level. So that day it was all going my way, like 6-1, and second set I was leading 5-1. I remember this. So it was 6-1, 5-1, and I even think it was 30 love or 40-15. Maybe 40-15 will be too much. Let's say 30 love. It's still like it's unbelievable. And I think that the camera, like the space, the memory there was just enough to record up to that point, maybe like up to 4-1, and then the camera stopped. It was not recording because later when I checked the video, it was like this. But it was so. I mean, now it's nice memory, when you remember it. But I remember it was very tough after. Obviously, you know what's coming. It was 6-1, 5-1, 30 love, and for some reason, I could not close the thing. I could not close the match. I don't know, that game, maybe just a couple of points here and there. I don't remember I was like afraid of the win, or like I was starting to choke. Uh, don't think that happened. It's just sometimes the momentum kind of changes, and then the other player just plays, has nothing to lose. And then you start a little bit thinking, like if you don't close that game, and then 5-2, and then you have a break, you're changing sides a little bit, time passes by, and then maybe the next game he plays good 5-3. Then you start having some thoughts. But anyways, I lost the second set 7-5. So that was 6 games in a row after leading like 6-1, 5-1. And then the third set, you would probably expect it was like easy, that I lost easy, but it was still fight. I was fighting, and it was very close. And I think I lost 7-5 in the third set. I don't think I had a match point there, but it was kind of tough, after. It was very, very difficult to come back the next day and train, and because at that point you're training, and only thing you're like preparing for are those tournaments, and this was the tournament in my club. I don't remember how he did after the tournament, but it was almost not important for me. I lost that match. That it was like almost finished, but it's just to show that, and by the way, this kind of matches I had a lot also, like later in both ways. I was also losing, and actually to the same player. Again, I said we had so many crazy matches. Most of them were like 3-set matches, and sometimes I would be losing actually against the same player, and this was under 16, like 4 years later at the same club. And I was, how was it? It was actually, I was losing 6-3, 3-0. Then I won the second set 6-3, and then the third set I was losing 5-0. 5-0 or 5-1, and then I saved I saved 2 or 3 match points, and then I won 7-5. So it kind of goes both ways, and this is the beauty of the sport. And it's the beauty, if you can see that way, because in the moments when you lose this match, like the world is like everything becomes dark, like you lose the faith in everything, you question everything, and many players maybe even quit after some matches like that, or at least they say they will quit, or they quit for some time, and then they come back again. And then on the other hand, when you have those matches and you win, you come out as a winner after you've been down and you're saving match points. Then you think like you're on top of the world and everything makes so much sense. And then oh, okay, so all this hard work and all these tough matches I lost, it was worth it, because now I won this match, because now I have this feeling. And you feel so happy, like you just want to, I don't know, it's tough to describe. I hope some of you had the feeling, and it's priceless, right? But it's the difference between the two, when you're on that one where you lose this match, and then the one when you win, the amplitude, or how do you call this, the difference, it's so big that for some players maybe it's too much. So, but again, as I said, if you can see that as the beauty of the sport, then you're in the game. I think then you're in the right way. So I'm sure all the top players in the world, they've experienced so many matches on both sides, and I still believe that they're struggling with going through those moments without emotions. And you can see, in those interviews or speeches when they have after the finals. And this is only what we see, but what we don't see are all the other like hundreds or thousands of players who are going through similar moments, maybe on a different level. But on any of these tournaments, like futures, challengers, everywhere, it's very emotional, like every match. And of course, the more you play, you kind of get used to it. You kind of accept, okay, you accept to lose the match. You think of it as a normal part of the process. But still, we are all like humans. We cannot just approach that as a robot and like no feelings, like kind of detached from it. I think that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this sport. So yeah, I always like to go back and recall some of those memories again in these tough times. You kind of remind yourself why you're still here, why you're still playing, what's your motivation behind. So I think it's important, and I hope you kind of enjoyed it. Maybe this also reminded you of some of your memories. I think it's great to always uh, keep that in mind so you can keep going. So we have a few more comments here, but I will have to wrap up now very soon. I have to leave home. It's Monday. It's time for new challenges. How tall are you? I think John answered 6'3", yeah, or 191. How do I get some spin in my second serve, Kendricks? Second serve, so I guess spin, you mean kick serve. We have some videos on kick serves, and I think we've been getting amazing feedback. I think it's the best you watch the video. It's everything explained there in steps. But in general, it's the positioning of the toss. You want to toss behind you, and it's the motion of your racket where you're not going at the ball like directly, like towards the target. You need to go up, right? You want to kind of brush the ball. I explain it if you have the clock. So you go from 7 to 1, right? Rather than going directly at the ball. So you're kind of brushing up. And then I also talked about how you maintain your elbow after you finish. I think the best way is when you see the video, and when you see the motion, it's easier to understand. Thanks. I appreciate it. Love you back. Always nice to see that. How long have you been in Shanghai? I've been here for 4 years now. Exactly. Actually, I think it's a bit like 10 days longer than 4 years, but so 4 years. Yeah, I came here to coach at one private club. Huge fan of your Milan. I have improved my serve based on your instructions. Wow, that's amazing. So happy to hear it. Thank you so much. Um, just keep practicing, keep having fun. I think that's the goal. For me, the most fun comes from like always wanting to improve. You know, kind of having that quest to get better, but also when you enjoy just the process itself. That's the whole point. I'm sure you heard the phrase, but it really is like that. Like, and if I think about it, it's not for me. Let's say I want to I want to get ready. I want to get to a certain point where I can run this distance in this time, or if I can play this way. It's not just that ending thing that I want to reach and that's it. It's actually the whole process, right? And once you get there, there's going to be a new goal, and then again it's going to be a new process. So it's kind of never ending, and unless you really enjoy the process itself, how can you always keep going? How can you keep pushing yourself? And I think you have to be aware of that you want to enjoy the process itself. Only then you can play this everlasting game. So it's basically never ending, and that's the beauty of it. No matter how old are you, no matter you know what's your level, and you can always keep playing. The rackets from the stores, yeah, the retail, like stock, it's definitely different because every single pro they kind of customize their rackets based on their preferences, their game style, their swings. So for sure it's different. And I think for the club level or like amateur level, it's not really so important. Those like small differences come in play when you're like playing on the highest level, where those margins for errors are like become so small, and the differences are like very small. And then when you change a little bit, modify your rackets, your shots, it's just like micro differences. It can become slightly deeper or something like this. And I don't think this really affects players on like club level. But anyways, thank you so much, guys, and I appreciate you all came back because we had this interruption with the connection. But yeah, I really have to go. I really have to go. I will be kind of late for the day. So appreciate everything, and you can still post questions on this video once it's there uploaded, and I will try to answer them later. All right, I'll see you later. Have a great Monday. Have a great week. Actually, now it's Sunday in the US, but anyways, for the next week, have a great one. I'll see you soon.